Page 11, Changing of the Guard. Here they're talking about accidentals. I thought we had accidentals already, but maybe not. I'll give the spiel on accidentals because look in the second line in the bottom staff, you see some sharps put in front of some of the notes. Those sharp signs are accidentals. They're not accidentals because they're accidents. They're accidentals because they're temporary. Sharp is one of the signs. A flat is another. Look at the second line. In the left hand, you have that chord, the D chord. They put a sharp in front of the first F, and that's it. The rule is it applies from that point on for the rest of that measure in that staff. So those other Fs in that, they're also sharped. But in the next measure, they're not. So they have to have another sharp sign if they want sharped again. And that's the rule, basically. One of the rules. Let's look this over here. It's 3 lines long. It's actually longer. It's got a DC al fine, da capo, DC. Oh. It's 4 lines long, really. Treble bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature. So we're in the key of C major. So here, you're doing the C major scale. Okay. Actually, the first line is in C major. The second line is in D major. And the third line is in G major. But you can't really see that quickly looking at the music because they're using the accidentals to do the job for you. The first line you're here, basically it sounds like C major. Second line you have the F sharps you're here. Sounds like F or D major. There's no C's in it, but if there were, there'd probably be C sharps too. And the last line you're here, G chord, G major. Now there's no F's in the line, so they don't need any F sharps here. But if there were F's in that line, I'm sure there'd be F sharps. But as far as the scales go, I just do the scales for what the piece starts and ends at, and that's C major. And common time is 4/4 time, so 4 beats in a major, quarter note gets a count. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we got the notes and the rhythms. We're here. And you don't need any more finger numbers for the first line because they're all here. 1 and 2 and. 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and. Get the idea? Second line, you got to come up. You're just 1 and 2 and. You're doing basically the same fingerings, just in a D position. And the last line, well, at the end of the second line, you're here. You can lift up and move up here. 2 and. It's the same thing in different positions. Left hand, you get the chords. You get the C chord. At the end of the line, it's the middle note just come up. In the second line, you just come up 1 to the D chord. At the end of the second line, the middle note comes up. And the last line, you go G chord. Okay, put the hands together. We're here. 1 and 2 and. It's the same melody and rhythm on each 3 lines. You're just playing it in a different key. You're going from C to D to G. And then back to C again because the da capo sends you back to the first line again to finish it off. So once you have the hands together, get rid of the hesitations, and then we can think about the articulation, which of course they don't give you any. I suggest you go ahead and connect each line. Looking up for the phrasing, that gives you a chance to move. Yeah. I mean, you can experiment with other articulation if you'd like, but basically I think that would work. Then for the dynamics, F forte is loud. That's going to be the right hand. The right hand is heavy. These chords are light. All throughout the whole thing. Well, once you get into it and get to know it, if you feel like getting a little softer or louder in places, that's fine, go for it. Because you're not going to stay exactly the same level through the whole thing. That gets boring. So get into it and feel it. You might feel it. At the end of each of these lines, I'd come down a little bit. Come down about a moderately loud each time. Just come come down. It's called ending a phrase. You come down at the end of a phrase. Like we come down at the end of a sentence. Down at the end of the sentence. Same thing, you come down at the end of a phrase. That's shaping the phrase, so to speak. Try that. It's part of interpreting the music. Natural accents, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get those? All right. Speed, tempo di marcia. Tempo of a march tempo. Left, right, left, right. Well, that's a problem because that doesn't give you a lot of time to move your hands, and you're moving both hands at the same time. That means you're aiming a lot of fingers at the same time. Go from the first line to the second. Here, here to here. Going from here to here. And every finger's got to be in place. Well, it takes time. Here to here. You just practice going on the notes that are in the music, going from the first line to the second line. These are the notes involved. I just practice that over and over until I can do it. Okay. I'm used to it. And then going from the second line to the third line, I'm here. That's a little further. It's the same fingers, but it's different. You practice that until you can get it. And then going from the last line back to the first line. So we practice these moves because when you're playing the piece, the beat has to be a steady beat. Let's play this together slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. Beginning.